Hello and welcome in to a very special Hong Kong Direct. Last Sunday at Sha Tin, when King's Capital grabbed solar power right at the winning post, this man, Zac Purton, became just the second rider in Hong Kong racing history to ride 1,300 winners. It was just the latest chapter, the latest piece of the story for the boy from Lismore in New South Wales on the border with Queensland of Australia. Not too long ago, Mr 1300 himself, Zac Purton, sat down for an extended chat with Andrew Le Jeune.
Zac, I make this season number 15 for you now here in Hong Kong, which is a pretty decent effort in its own right. You'd be a different person to how you were when you first arrived all those years ago as a young man, emotionally, mentally, physically as well. But in terms of your motivation, how's that changed from year to year?
I think when you first come, you're begging for a ride, right? You're just struggling to get an opportunity anywhere you can. So it takes a bit of time to build up the contacts and get momentum and until you can get yourself in a position where you can start challenging for the premiership. So that could take a couple of years, it could take 5 or 6 years, but you're continually just building up for that moment towards that. So that in itself is motivation early on in those few years. Then obviously when you get to the top, you then get to ride the best horses as well, so that keeps you motivated. But as far as coming back every season, it's just put your head down, work hard, try and maintain the relationships that you've got. And in Hong Kong, you're only ever as good as your last ride, so you can never let your standard drop. As you know, the media here and the fans alike around Hong Kong are very critical. So you've got to maintain your consistency all the time, and I think that's a motivation in itself.
The sport's changed as well for not just in racing, but for athletes in general as well over that time in terms of diet, exercise, lifestyle too, which has seen jockeys like Frankie Dettori and Mike Smith riding well into their 50s. Now you're still a few years off the big 5-0, but healthy body, healthy mind, you've really got to look after yourself these days too.
You do. I think at this stage in my career, I don't know if it's because of some of the things you touched on where we've got more information available to us these days. The jockey club's being very good as well. They've got a nutritionist on board, and we've got some sort of sports science type stuff that we work with as well, and the exercise regimes that are available to us, and the CMOs from Union Hospital. So we have a lot more information personally given to us, as well as what's available on the net throughout the world. But I feel at this stage in my career, I feel like I'm doing things a lot better than I have at any other stage. I eat a lot healthier than I used to. I obviously drink a lot more water because I had the run of kidney stones there for a while. I think my exercise regime is at a good point, and it's more specifically targeted to certain areas of my body that I want to work, and obviously that correlates with riding the horses on race day as well. So I think when you package everything up, maybe I'm just a bit more mature. I've been there, done it, I'm comfortable, I know what it takes. So I just feel like I'm in a really good spot at the moment, and obviously last season I battled a little bit with a few injuries, but you have to expect that as an athlete. They come and go, and I was able to give myself freshen up in the off-season, and like I said, I think my body's in a really good spot at the moment.
We might come back to longevity in a moment or so, but I've already heard you quoted this season saying that maybe the tide has turned for you, which is early days for this campaign, but that must be directly related to the horses that you're riding as well. So you're looking for new standard bearers. The old guard, the beauty generations, the exaltants, now retired. So you must be excited about the potential of these new horses and where they might take you.
And that's always the exciting thing about the industry that we're in is the young horses coming through and the potential that they may have. Whether they get to the top or not remains to be seen, but potentially there is a nice batch of horses coming through. But I just think last season, I knew I was injured going into the season. John Moore had left. My big horses were retiring, so I could see a little bit of a lull coming, and I was prepared for that. I knew that was going to happen, so it didn't really worry me when it did, because I know the ebbs and flows come and go. But this season, obviously David Hayes, he has got a lot of nice young horses, and I'm doing a little bit of riding for him, so he's obviously going to help. Danny Shum's got a lot of nice horses there as well, and there are some other stables that I ride for quite regularly that I can feel are gonna, or I think are going to be able to have decent seasons, and it's just a matter of getting it all to come together at the one time. And on top of that, I feel good. Like obviously I don't now because I have a cold, but I actually feel good. Like I said, I'm bouncing. I feel like I've got a lot of energy. I feel really comfortable on the horses. Last season I felt a bit uncomfortable because of those injuries. I couldn't quite find my rhythm, but this season, right from the get-go, I felt completely different on them. And I think when you're like that, the horses, they feel the rhythm, they feel the flow, and I believe that means that they're going to be able to perform at their best for me.
Does the number 1,813 mean anything to you?
It does. It does. It's a question that gets put to me quite often, and I did say to Douglas.
This is Douglas Whyte's record here in Hong Kong, the amount of winners he's ridden.
It's the most winners any jockey's ever ridden in Hong Kong, and Douglas did a fantastic job. But I have always said to him that I probably won't be around long enough to break his record, so it's safe. So
well, you're around 1,300. Incidentally, on first night at Happy Valley, you rode your 500th winner at Happy Valley. I missed that on the night, and I apologise for that. But okay. Fortune Carrier was your 500th winner.
Okay, I
at the
didn't
City
know
Circuit.
that.
So you're about 500 short
yeah.
of Douglas now. So another 4 seasons at your current rates, you get there. If you pull a Frankie Dettori and you ride into your 50s, then it's not a problem.
It's obviously possible. You know, I'm only 38. I've still got plenty of years left in me.
Yeah. But is it something you think about? Is there in the back of the mind, or not so much?
It hasn't been in the back of my mind, no. But when I was told that I was coming up to 1,300, and I'd like to think by the end of the season I'm past 1,400,
yeah.
It's not that far away, really, is it?
No.
So the motivation, that might be the motivation itself to keep me going. And you know, at the end of the day, it'll just come down to opportunities and support and how I feel, whether I feel I can still compete at the level I'm at. If at any time I think my standards have dropped a little bit, you know, that'll clearly be a signal for me to pull the pin. But at the moment, things are going well, and like you touched on, it's actually not that far away.
No. You mentioned motivation again. I suppose that brings us back full circle as to, you know, what does keep you going, because professionally, you're a 4-time champion jockey here in Hong Kong. You've won all the Group 1s. You're HKR's most successful rider. You've been associated with the 2 highest money earners here in Hong Kong, in Exultant and Beauty Generation. Personally, you've got a beautiful young family, and outside of the sacrifices you make for your sport, you live a reasonably comfortable life. So what is it there? Is it just that underlying driving force of, I suppose, all sportsmen, whether it's you know, playing in a World Cup, a major, whatever it might be, it's just that adrenaline rush, the best wanting to be the best, and that winning feeling that you just can't satisfy? Yeah,
there is all of that packaged up in it. It's the will to want to win. It's the will to want to be the champion. It's the will to want to win the big races. It's the will to want to be competitive every time I go out there. Obviously, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of knockbacks, if I can put it that way. But I love riding horses. I love riding in races. The adrenaline you spoke about. I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I do like doing things that provide me with those things, whether it's jumping out of a plane or driving a car fast or a motorbike fast or all that sort of stuff. I love that rush, and I'm not going to be able to replace that when I retire. But when I do retire, I suppose I've got to have something to step into. It's not just a matter of retiring and going, well, what am I going to do now? I'm going to need something to entertain myself, to keep myself going. So at the moment, I don't have that. What I do have is racing, and racing's all I think about. So we'll just keep going, keep trying to ride as many winners as I can.
And he has 9 rides at Sha Tin on Sunday, does Zac Purton. We do thank Zac for giving us his time in that sit-down interview with Andrew. Here is the diary of what is coming up. Trackside Live from 12:30 this Sunday. The feature is the 8th, the Chinese Recreation Club Challenge Cup at 4:35 Hong Kong time. Back to Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We'll be on air from 6:44 local. And then the first group race of the season comes up on the 26th. It's the Group 3 Celebration Cup at Sha Tin. Trackside team will be on air at 12:30, as we will, recapping this Sunday for another 10-race dual course program. That has been Hong Kong Direct. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go out with Zac Purton's first Group 1 in Hong Kong with Fellowship winning the 2010 Stewards Cup. Bye-bye.
The speed genuine down the side. Egyptian Ra. Sumion tries to give him a breather now. Steadies the pace by a length and a half to Sight Winner. Able One third, then Packing Winner from Aishala. Armada's back on the bit now from Special Days. Length and a half to Fellowship on the running line from Jackpot Delight. Thumbs Up Collection. Good Bar will have to come from last to win his third Stewards Cup into the straight. Sight Winner lays it down now to Egyptian Ra. Able One keeps sticking on. Fellowship out of the packs running on, and Good Bar's two behind him. Thumbs Up's not out of the race either as Fellowship races to the lead. Armada's with him. Good Bar and Thumbs Up the outside. Fellowship a length and a half clear. Special Days running a cheeky race, and Thumbs Up's driving. Fellowship in front. Purton pushes him across the post, and Fellowship wins the Stewards Cup from Thumbs Up.